They say her voice doesn't echo, it ignites. Welcome back to They Say It Takes a Village. Today, we're diving into a conversation that goes right to the heart of what it truly means to be a woman in today's world. In a time where we're told to either hustle like a boss or submit like a trad wife, many of us are left wondering, is there any other way? My guest today, Rima Zanoun, is a force of nature. She's a coach and mentor, an entrepreneur, and the creative mind behind Makaw and Kream chocolates. But beyond her success, Rima brings something deeper: mystical wisdom, a resilient spirit, and a fierce commitment to empowering women to embrace their authentic selves. This episode is going to challenge the stereotypes, unpack societal pressure, and explore how we can raise a generation of grounded, young women who really choose their own path. Stay with us. You will not want to miss this one. Rima, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Welcome to They Say It Takes a Village. I'm so grateful for your time and the effort and energy. I feel like this has been months in preparation for us to try to pin you down and drag you all the way into this studio. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Raya. I have to say, I've been watching it, obviously. I think it's one of the greatest podcasts that have come out of the UAE.
Oh my God,
It's
guys,
true.
did you
It's
hear
true.
that? I
It's
feel
true.
like this goes
It really is true. And for me, it's doing like one of the most important parts, and it's made motherhood and having children just look so cool.
Oh, you're
which
way too kind.
which is really hard to do, I think. And it's with the past and how we look at motherhood and families, etc., which is going out of fashion in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's like you make it look like it should be, and it's like it looks like the future. So I watch it and I enjoy it very much. I think the name as well, It Takes a Village, is fantastic and genius.
I mean, it does.
Yes, it does.
You need all
It
the people
does.
you can get.
We need the village to come back in all ways, in all forms.
Every aspect of life, the village needs to be there. You can't do life alone. You have to have the
can't do
support.
business alone. You can't do anything alone.
No, absolutely.
It was the village that did together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Honestly, but I really appreciate it. I mean, look who's talking.
I'm happy to be here.
Fangirling. As you walked in, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, I can't believe she's
Thank
here.
you.
No, but really, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
For it all. I'm really excited about today's conversation. And I
Me
think
too.
we both vibed off it the moment that, we kind of got started. And I just think I've had sort of guests come on here and we talked a lot about what it is to be a man in this world. Because I think men are struggling too a little bit. And I think I found that part quite interesting because I've got 2 little boys. But it's not just the men, it's the women. People are struggling. And I think more often than not, there's this expectation, and I think there's expectations for men and expectations for women, and it is, I don't know what's going on in this generation or what happened in the last generation, but there is a shift, and people are finding it quite uncomfortable, whether it's men or women. But specifically today, we're going to be talking about women. I feel like before we get into it, because I know how passionate you are about empowerment, whether it's women in business, whether it's women in relationships, whether it's just doing life. Mm-hmm. But I find things, obviously, to sort of introduce you, I found it really quite beautiful as a witch who crafts in love and creativity. I find that that's like the perfect point to actually start this. I just wanted to ask, what was in your mind when, and how do you feel about that? How do you explain who you are and what you do?
Yes, what I am and what I do. So I serve as best as I can, which means I do most of my work internally and then see what happens and what comes out externally. And so for me, I work one-on-ones and I do workshops and I do retreats and I talk on stages, etc. For me, it's not just in those moments, right? So I love to think of purpose or mission being at every single, moment, in every single moment, whatever I do. So every breath that comes out of me, everything that comes out of me, if I can be in my frequency of truth, which means I can hear where I'm cold and I can hear where I'm not. So I can really differentiate where I'm meant to go, where I'm not meant to go, etc. And the more I attune to that, the more I'm able to serve wherever I go. And serving doesn't mean, when I say love and people are like, oh, you're like light and
Yeah,
love,
you sort of lives to love and create. I
Mm.
read that and I was just like, honestly, number one, that is beautiful because that's life. But then, yeah, you'll get that. What do you mean by that? What do you
Yeah.
mean by love and create?
So we're all creating all the time, right? So
Yeah.
we're either creating intentionally and we know that we're creating and therefore we can now start steering where we're going and what we're doing, or it's just creating and then we're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Right? So creating means I want to be intentional about that. And loving is the refinement, I think, of balancing this beautiful soul and this body and having them harmonize and having them love one another and work as one, which means I will answer the call where I'm cold. And loving doesn't always mean hugging and giving compliments. And sometimes it's triggering someone. And that's also love. Sometimes it's just showing somebody the truth they can't see and they need to see. And that's also love. It's just about knowing, is this I'm being called to do it, as in it's energetic call and pull. Two energies are calling one another for a work, or it's my ego going there and saying, I want you to know this thing. Because a lot of people say, I'm the person who's going to go and say, you need to do this or you need to do that. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. But it's really the refinement of emptying so much that you can hear. And you can hear where I'm called, what's for me, what's not for me. And just walking in that as much as possible. So I do that in every single aspect of my life. I do that at work. I like to think of I've had different companies in my life. I have a chocolate company and
honestly,
shops.
I was reading your background and just stalking you a little bit. And I was like, you are essentially a female entrepreneur in the region. So you are sort of driving business, but there's also a really beautiful, spiritual, mystical, sort of in tuned with your sort of core as a woman on the other side. And I think that is, how did you yo-yo between the two? Because one is quite hard, and I would say, I don't want to use the word masculine, but one is definitely a little bit more.
It is, you're right.
Yeah.
It is,
black
100%.
And white, whereas the other, I would just find it's a bit more flow.
Absolutely. And one cannot be without the other. So that's the sovereignty. And I have this conversation with women a lot of the time, and they are not too happy to hear about the masculine side. Most women, do want to hear so much about, I want to flow and I want to dance and I want to just and I get it.
Feminine energy.
And I love it. And it's great and it's wonderful. However, you can't do that to the best of your ability, truly and freely, if your masculine is not there to contain it for you. And by your masculine, it cannot be outsourced. Until you have your own masculine that can do that for you, stay away from men.
It's true.
Because you will be throwing that onto him and then it creates another chaos because you're trying to get him to do what you can't do within. So it's super important. It doesn't matter who your father is or your husband is, it doesn't matter. It's, as a woman, you've got to have a masculine, this part here, that has evidence, proven to you in evidence that you can count on your him. And you've got to have that evidence in how your life is designed. Do you have structure? Do I have discipline? Am I able to get from point A to point B? Am I able to achieve my goals? And that's my masculine, is she speaks and she says, I want this kind of life and I want to experience this and I want to live this. That's the heart. And we're very attuned to our hearts. We know, as women, we know what we like and don't like, as opposed to most men who are a little bit less attuned to that. But women, we know. I like this, I don't like this. I want this, I don't want this, But it's getting our masculine to execute. And our masculine's job is literally just that. It's like, tell me, and I'm here. What do you want? And I create it for you. And then it's a skill set. Then it's a development. So it's all the skills that we love in the masculine, in the men outside of us. Those have got to be within our masculine. They have got to be there. I cannot say I want someone who has integrity. I want someone who has got discipline and says his no is a no, his yes is a yes, is able to build, is able to do the hard thing to get it done. And then I am not willing to have that and do that for myself. And I'm like, I've signed up for the gym, but it's been 6 months and I still haven't got, So
yeah, I totally get it. It's that balance, that yin and yang. I think it's just I mean, do you find that you literally go between the two
Yeah, it's like driving. It's like the brake and
and the
you know,
accelerator?
yeah, the accelerator. You're not all the time on one or the other. You are going to always do that depending on the seasons of your life and what you're going through, right?
I love that. I love that because it's so true.
Mm.
You can either go really fast and then you need to slow down, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's the perfect analogy.
And I have a lot of women who get married and then they say, now I have a man, he should be. And I'm like, yes, in your marriage. So whatever happens here, which is that energetic polarity. Polarity is the foundation of what creation is, right? So that's whatever you want to call it, source, God, whatever. So it's that polarity. It's the yin yang, feminine, masculine. These are words. Words are symbols to identify two energies, which are different poles. And together, the magnetism between them creates. Right. And when they are not working functionally, so they are conflicting, resisting one another, we have creations which are what we call negative creations. We're not happy with the result of it. So what comes of it is not good. It's like a marriage where at home, husband and wife don't hate each other and they're all fighting, whatever. What comes of it is not nice. These two are trying to harmonize. So when these two harmonize, whatever comes out is beautiful. And sometimes he does, and sometimes she does. And sometimes she's going to step up, but sometimes he's going to step up. But together they are harmony. They're two notes. They're creating a song. They're creating the song of this world that they're creating together. This is the new world. When we speak of, I go to a lot to these retreats and people are like, oh, we're going to go build, get this land and build a new world and whatever. I'm like, that is not what the new world is. The new world is what comes out of the womb. Yeah. And what comes out of the womb, what you're going to put into that, from the minute it's in the womb to out of the womb, the watering of it, the nourishment of it, the soil that it's gonna grow in, that's the new world. That person carries the new world in them. So you gotta do the work here for you to be able to carry that and give it to that new world, which is the child of the future. And that work is the work that I think is the most avoided work. People will do everything but go there.
It's the most painful, and it's that realization, right? So as an adult having a baby, you understand that there is a clean slate. I mean, I think every single parent, their wish is not to pass things onto their children that they don't like about themselves, but having to recognize what you don't like about yourself. I think that in itself is something that would take a lifetime to actually pinpoint and perfect and really deal with. So I think, yeah, just like you said, I mean, it's you are creating a brand new world.
Absolutely.
And if the vessel in which the world needs to be nurtured, watered, cared for is shaky, that's where I guess all the anxiety.
And that's exactly what it is. And whatever dysfunction in terms of those two energies, the polarities within the home, that child is going to carry it, right? So if daddy's not daddy and mommy's not mommy, which means if nature is not nature, I cannot be in nature. And Absolutely. If I am not in nature, I suffer. That's suffering is I am not within my nature. So I am not what nature designed me to be. So how do I know it? I am suffering. I'm either dehydrated. It's like looking at a plant, that's dry or dehydrated or needs vitamins or got disease or whatever. It needs to be put back in health. And put back in health means aligned within itself, within its nature. So children need to have what mother is and what father is and receive both, because we are 50-50. And that 50-50 is what we carry into the next world. 100%. If those 50s are not healthy, functional, there needs to be correction down the line, which then is the suffering and the carrying of what that child takes. Yeah.
What kind of, in terms of your coaching work, who do you see? Typically, everybody and everything?
Yes. Yeah. So I've been coaching for almost 50 years, I think, by the end of this year.
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years. That's a really long time.
Yeah. And I do one-on-one coaching, and I do group coaching. I do couples as well. I do a lot of constellations as well, which I think is a very efficient and fast, expedited way to resolve a lot of things.
Constellations?
Yeah, family constellations.
Okay.
Family and systemic constellations. Have you heard of that?
No.
Okay, so now it's super popular. It's not new, but it's super popular thanks to a Turkish TV series that's been on Netflix called Another Life.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, okay. And it's the most efficient work for anybody wanting to shift anything. It bypasses the conscious, so it bypasses all of the stories which we all have about our identity and why my life is the way it is, etc., and goes directly with the body. So the way it works is you've got a client that's sitting next to you, and then you've got a bunch of people there who are anonymous and are representatives. And this person is going to speak about, they'll say, I have a bad relationship with my father, or I can't find love in my life, or I can't keep money whenever, or I can't sell this house that I have there. I've been trying for 10 years and it won't sell, or whatever.
Whatever the intention is.
Whatever the intention is. And then there's what we call the morphogenetic field, which is the field of all energies combined here in the middle where we're all working. So they're going to pick somebody. I'll tell them, pick somebody for, I don't know, the house, somebody for your mother, somebody for the block, let's say, or whatever. And we bring them on in the space. And then they start moving around and they start feeling what is actually going on in there. So what it does is we all have a constellation. Our constellation means all of my lineage of how I hold and belong within my system of family. And that means my father behind me, my mother behind me, and all the lineage, their mother, their father, all of that behind, because all of that's living in my cells and in my body energetically.
That's right.
And in my cells. So whenever we're not able to live the life we want to live, something within our system is blocked. So the flow of love has been blocked somewhere. Either you didn't receive the love from your mother because she didn't receive it from her father, let's say, or your mother is still with her father as opposed to being able to give it to her children. A child is missing, it could be. So there's so many reasons of which, and usually people will come and whatever issue they have is got nothing to do with what's going to show up in front of us. So we can't control what the field shows, which is why a lot of people have to think before they do this, because sometimes things that show up is family secrets, adoptions, things that, and then they find out it's true.
And by them showing up, it's the person is saying this?
The person just knows because they resonate energetically and their body starts reacting, and sometimes they stop it, they get up and they say, stop, I don't want to go any further.
That's amazing.
I can't see it. They're not in the constellation. They will have somebody represent for them. So they'll pick someone that say, this person's going to be me, because they're not ready to be there.
Okay.
Because what's happening is whatever is the truth which is held in the body is going to open up and show up just like on the screen, like a movie. And there is, all the stories crumble. So usually after a constellation, people sleep for a good 12 hours, and they are just, because whatever story they had of their life, of this, my father, that's my mother, this is why, and this is why I'm the way I am, all that crumbles because a whole new truth has appeared, and now that needs to settle into the body and adjust with their life, with who they are, who they think they are, etc. So it's very, very, very powerful. It's the work of Bert Hellinger, a German guy who studied Zulu tribes and then become a priest in South Africa, etc. And incredible work, and the most efficient in terms of shifts, because there is no stories. This person sits and we're working with facts. Your mother's alive, you have siblings, and that's it. And we start, and the field shows us. I have no idea what I'm going to see.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I've never heard of it.
So I do a lot of work with a lot of people here. So Emiratis, CEOs, a lot of top people. I've been working a lot with men in the past couple of years for some reason. I think the men are shifting.
Struggling. Yeah.
They're shifting as well, though. So women are always at the forefront of change, always have been, always will be. And when we say the artists are at the forefront, art is the feminine. She is the art. Yeah. So artist, the feminine sensitivity, the heart opens and the mind follows. It's always been like that. And that's why we're fighting patriarchy at the moment. But
I've got so many questions on patriarchy. I've got so many.
Yeah, I talk a lot about that. Well, patriarchy is not a better thing, but we're trying to find the middle ground and the new place. We're going towards a whole new consciousness. There's no precedent to it. So we're doing our best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me peel it back a little bit. So now obviously women, this is why we're here today.
Yeah.
To talk about women. At the moment, from where I stand and from what I can see, and it could be just due to in the fact that, whether I'm at an age where I'm trying to look sort of introspectively
Mm.
or trying to find my way in the world, or I don't know, I feel like everyone hits, let's say 40, and lots of things creep up about questioning what you're supposed to be doing. Why are you here? What is your path? What is in store for you for the next phase of your life? At the moment, in my very rudimentary way of thinking, I've sort of seen two camps when it comes to women. Boss babe, hustle. I can do it all, everything. Give it all to me and I will be efficient. I will be present. I will be soft and nurturing all at the same time. Then you've got another shift that I can see is very traditional.
Mm.
Somebody who's like, no, I can't really do these things, but I don't want to do the sort of, I would say, more fast-paced, business-oriented, really. I don't want to do that. I want to be a traditional role of a woman, which we would say traditional, let's say go back another, 30, 40 years. Not even, more like 50 years. What are your thoughts? What is going on with women? Because it's just become quite confusing. And I think lots of women are trying to find who they are in a world where we have been asked to pick a side. Are you this person who is highly driven, wants to just compete with, I would say, a little bit of a patriarchal society? Or do you want to completely get out of that race and be a little bit more traditional? A traditional female role?
I don't think women want traditional because they ran away from traditional. Women looked at their mothers and their grandmothers and they said, I don't ever want to be caged and I want to be free. Yeah. But what we're saying is there are aspects of which are gone. And the aspects of those are, there's a price for everything. Absolutely. And the price that our mothers and grandmothers paid was their freedom of choice, being able to be free of their body expression, all of these things, right? And we watched that and we said, I need to be able to choose, to pick a person out of love, to choose what I want to do, to be free to move around, to be a human being, which is freedom at the essence of it. Every human being, everything we do is in pursuit of freedom. Freedom being, I want to feel that I can express all that I am, because that's what freedom is. Express all that I am, not do whatever I want, but express all that I am. Now, the word woman is being redefined, and we're trying to figure out, because we're saying, okay, that didn't work. This whole like boss babe thing they sold us didn't work. What is it and how is it and why am I unhappy? And on the other side, we got men suffering from the same aspects of redefinition of what manhood, masculinity is. Because they're like, I don't want to be my dad, but I also don't want to be this. And I don't know where I belong, where I fit. What am I? Who am I? So what's happening for women at the moment is they are no longer so angry. So we're feeling the grief. So the levels of change emotionally is, first is numbness. Numbness is, I don't feel nothing. I'm nonchalant. I just go about my thing. I build, I do whatever. After that comes anger. Anger is right behind numbness. So someone who says, I'm numb, they've suppressed everything. You open up Pandora's box, the first thing that comes out is anger.
For sure.
And after the anger, why? Because anger is a strong emotion. It's the only emotion that we allow ourselves, and men allow ourselves to feel, especially women who are in their masculine, because anger means I'm still powerful. I'm not weak. If I'm angry, I'm powerful. So anger comes out.
A bit of a defense mechanism.
Correct. It's like I'm still not vulnerable.
Yeah.
Anger is not vulnerable. I'm angry. I'm still not, small and weak and whatever. And then after that comes grief. So women, we are grieving. And we are grieving what? All the parts of us which have gone with the movement of becoming more masculine and building, which is we are grieving our beauty, our natural beauty. What is it to wake up and just absolutely adore this body and these curves and this hair and how it is, the way it shows up? What is it to sing? What is it to move and to feel? The grieving of so many years where we didn't feel and we were numb for a long time, just going. So there's a lot of grieving in that. So women who are in their masculine have to go through that whole process before they can reach that feminine. And usually it's the pendulum. So you go from masculinity, a woman who's heavily in her masculine, to then she's going to want to go completely in her feminine, which is it's eat, pray, love, which is I left
Absolutely.
everything.
I've left
and now I'm at the
everything.
ashram.
That's right.
And I'm dancing in goddess dresses
Yeah.
all day and night.
Yeah.
And then after that, there needs to be a balancing in the middle, because this is chaotic life. This is a numb life. And in the middle is a divine, grounded life. And that is what we're seeking. Men are doing the same thing. They're just kind of also oscillating from one to the other. And it's beautiful to see in these spaces, which are spiritual spaces, like, when you go to Bali or Ibiza, and you go to all these places and you see people in which phases they're in. And it's transition. But a body needs to go through that transition because so much energy needs to move through the body. Energy being the emotions, all the containment, etc. Women today are seeking what it feels like to be sovereign. And sovereignty means I have brought my masculine and my feminine into a loving relationships. This marriage here is a loving one. They love each other. And if they love each other, I feel fulfilled. I feel filled, full of love, full of all that I am. And I don't need much. I'm good, which means everything else that comes in my life becomes a sharing of that, a pouring of that. I can pour now, I can give. I'm not seeking, I'm not in pain. Because when I'm in pain, I need you to fix me. I need this to fix me. I need this cake to fix me. I need this shopping spree, this man, this whatever to, take it away. As opposed to I'm good, but I'd love to share this with the world and connect. But for women to connect, they need to not be in that pain, and that pain which is survival.
But do you not think that that is a really difficult one to get to, that beautiful harmony between the masculine and the feminine?
And that's the life, that really is our life's work. And our life's work is only one thing, and it goes for both the masculine and the feminine, and it goes for men and women equally, which is energetically, we need to leave home, mommy and daddy energetically. We are still, most of us, at home with mommy and daddy energetically. You could be at the other side of the world. I have people who come to me, I left my country 40 years ago. I didn't see my family. I'm like, yes, but your job is your mother.
Yeah.
And this woman has become your father. Yeah. So we have replace. Replacing means I have not taken full responsibility for this life. Fully, 100%. This life is my responsibility, for sure. No one else's. That is the process of maturing and becoming sovereign. Sovereign means this year is fully my responsibility. I'm an adult now. I can't ask this guy to become my dad or my mom and this what job. And a lot of it is that you have a lot of people that I have been working with a lady who's like, I've been trying to leave my job for 14 years and I can't leave my job. But that job is her meshment with her father. It's got nothing to do with the job. And we did a constellation and it was like mind blown. She was like, oh my God, yes. Because that's what happens is we replace what mommy and daddy did for us at a young age. So we come into this world and you have children, that they're looking at you and they're looking at that.
For sure.
I mean, a child is purely in the feminine energy, which is receiving energy. So a child up till 6, 7 is purely, and that's men, it's a boy and girl.
Oh, yeah.
They are both in the receiving energy. Receiving energy is the properties of the feminine. So it's like receiving, mommy, you got to give. Unless, it's dysfunctional and the child is parentified, but that's a whole other thing. But usually a child is in the receiving energy. Yeah. So that child at that age is, accustomed to mommy and daddy do for me.
Absolutely.
Daddy protects me and provides and gives me and whatever. And mommy's the love and the belonging and I am amazing and I feel great and the validation and all of that, right? So then I go into the world and I grow up and I don't want to take those responsibilities onto myself. So I shall covertly, unconsciously assign them to others and places and things and whatever that will do these things for me. And that's why, we develop addictions. Everybody's addicted. There's nobody who's not addicted to something.
True.
The biggest addiction is busyness, is being busy all the time, is not being able to sit with yourself. So we're all busy, have our little addictions. And those, all of us, with all of us.
It's just like I can't, I have to be some busy. If not, then I feel like I'm not being productive and therefore.
Yes. And that's that's the masculine. Yeah. So the masculine has to feel all the time that it's doing something.
Something.
Yeah.
Do you not think that, the movement from the masculine to the feminine and then back to the middle, do you think that goes with different stages and phases of life? Or are people just sort of not born, but more have a tendency to be in their masculine energy, and another have more of a tendency to be in their feminine energy, and some people are somehow in the middle?
So everything we learn from the minute we open our eyes and come into the world.
Yeah.
We have some predispositions that come into our history, energetically, biologically, so we can see that. But most of what we are and how we operate in the world is how we were raised. So it's that initial original system. It is everything. It is everything. It is the most forming of a human being. So you meet a human being, the first thing that I see in my clients is, am I dealing with a patriarchy or a matriarchy internally? Which means, is the heart dominating or is the mind dominating? Because those are the two components. So patriarchy and matriarchy are not, just systems that are outside of us. They're within us. They're like a software. There's a system of operating, and it's a malfunction. Why? Because it's not a harmonious system. Harmonious means two equals that have different properties and do their own thing. This note is not better than this note. They complement each other to create the symphony, as opposed to this one's dominating this one, this one's suppressed. So in our lives, you are going to meet people that are going to be at different stages, and we're going to see ourselves at different stages. If I'm in a season in my life where I need to build, I'm not going to be my feminine that much.
Yeah.
The feminine is going to give me the vision. The feminine might give me the, you're doing great, love, when I come at night.
Yeah.
Keep going, and I'm okay, and I'm waiting for you when you're done and finished. And that's really having a loving relationship, which is the feminine being like, I know you're building right now, so I've got you, and I don't need you to take me out dancing and whatever. We'll do that later when you're done.
Yeah.
Priority.
Yeah.
And that's what men want to hear as well in their marriage, when they're going through something and they're like,
True.
I lost my job right now. We're not about traveling, and I need to
for
figure out
sure.
what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
So that is the relationship. So I always say, when I'm working with people on their inner union, because that's the only thing that really changes everything in a life, everything, it's all there. It's like whatever you're looking for out there in a relationship it has to be first created here. So, if you're asking this of this person, you ask this of your own masculine. If you don't, then you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. And whatever you want, you're not going to attract that. You will not, because you will attract exactly your animus, meaning your own masculine or your own feminine and whatever's out there. And you're going to be like, no, I don't, but yeah, it's 100% what's going on inside of you. So yes, we do shift, and we do need to be on different speeds. In relationship, though, in marriages, though, it just so science decided, nature decided that you are female.
Yep.
And that he is male.
Yeah.
Biologically and anatomically, you can see it. And that means you need to be mainly in your feminine in that relationship.
Yeah.
And he needs to be mainly in his masculine. Why? For polarity to create. Because if not, polarity is not there. These two don't really want to mate.
You're so right. You're so right. But then that goes into a question of gender roles. My gender role as a woman is, like you said, I am the giver of life.
Yes.
I nurture. That is the default. I'm supposed to be, sort of within, and I don't want to, use words that are so, kitschy, but in my feminine energy, which means I've got children. I need to be there for my children. I need to, make sure my home is a certain way, my relationship a certain way. The reason why, what I'm getting at is, I feel at the moment, women are still in a place where there is an expectation to be very much in their feminine, but then also to go out there and earn a living, sort of be a woman acting like a man in a man's world. And then you come home and you need to take off all these layers. And then you've got your feminine role.
You can't.
You cannot. And then also, for example, with the man, traditionally, provider, protector. I don't want to discredit the men who are provider protector, but are also stay-at-home fathers, primary caregivers. So at this point, I think there is this constant debate. What's my role and what's my role? And I think that the whole idea is, I mean, obviously with the feminist movement, everything, it's given so much choice to women. It's giving them power, choice. Now women are I would say about the majority in universities and top universities. Correct. That are CEOs, that are political leaders. They are really doing incredible things. Yes. At what cost? Mm-hmm. What is the cost? Is there a cost? Is there something?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, this is it.
The cost is very clear. We're not having children. I simplify everything because I don't like distractions. Choices for me is distractions. Anything that's put out, I don't need somebody to give me choices. Choices come out of me. Yeah. So I will see what feels right for me. Now, societies now are giving a lot of choices to women. No, they're confusing women.
Absolutely.
And they're distracting women. Same is happening with men. They're confused and distracted. And as long as you're confused, you can't hear truth. You don't feel it anymore. You don't know what is true and what is coming. You're encoded with truth. Yeah. We come encoded with truth. There's nothing you're learning out there that's not inside of you. So, but we're so disconnected from that. And again, looking at outside daddy, whether it's just society, country, somebody you look up to give you answers. And that is an incredibly powerful position to be in, to be somebody giving advice and telling you what to do and giving you choices, because that's somebody controlling you. Where we're at is the women nowadays are seeking to find that balance within, and they don't know where to go to get it. And men are the same. So it's not so much about roles, but it's about what feels natural to me. Because when we feel natural in nature, within my design, how I was designed, I feel good. And that's what matters. And the masculine feels good when he is providing and protecting. Mm-hmm. That is literally, when a man walks into a house, that is his house that he's provided, and his woman is there emanating beauty and looking at him with these eyes and smiling at him, and his children are happy, and she is singing in the house and walking around, and he comes to his house and everybody's healthy, everybody's good, food's on the table, and he sits down. He is a king.
But that might be unpopular opinion, right?
I don't think so. I think that we love convenience and we love to say what feels convenient. So if I'm avoiding something in my life because I don't want to grow up, I'm going to tell you, no, society change, 50-50,
50-50,
la la la, woo-la-lee, woo-la-la, because that's convenient to me.
But honestly, I feel like that's doing us a disservice.
100%.
Because I don't want to be 50-50. I'm not 50% man. I am 100% woman.
The woman cannot thrive in 50-50. Men cannot thrive in 50-50. When a man tells you 50-50, he does not feel like a man.
Mic drop.
End of story. He does not. He's just not able yet, because what he's trying to tell you is, I am not in a position in my life right now to do 100%, which is, if I had it, I would love it because I feel big when I do that. Because right now I feel I can cover you. And in that, I feel I have a kingdom. Men are seeking out there for their kingdom. There's a reason why men get up and need to challenge themselves. Men go to the gym, they need to do that, weightlifting and sweat and their faces and really heavy stuff and whatever. And we like Pilates and yoga and, sweet things, and we like to dance and whatever, because we thrive in pleasure and they thrive in the pain aspect. Yeah. A man feels his masculinity rise when he is able to handle more pain in his body, because he feels strong. How do I know how strong I am if I don't know how much pain I can tolerate? That is why men challenge themselves. Mm-hmm. And in that challenge, they thrive. They get up every morning. They need to go slay dragons, whatever dragons those are. Whether it's, I'm working towards my abs, sales, whatever it is I'm doing today. But I need to do something that I feel I have slayed the dragon and achieved it. And then I come home and I want to see in her face that big smile that tells me, that's why I do it. She is the purpose. She is life. She is the future. She is why I do this. If she's not here, I don't need to do this. I'm going to play video games and, watch wrong things online.
That was my next question. Why do you think, are we in this position because of that? The incel type of existence? The fact that we've got online partnerships as opposed to real human connection, the need for that. I mean, like you said, the polarity needs to be a man and a woman to create life. If there is a man and a video game or an iPad, there's no life. Nothing is being created at that point.
Yes.
Therefore, his identity is in question. Likewise, with a woman. If she's like, not good enough, don't really want this guy because he's no ambition, because he's sitting on a computer all day, or he's addicted to porn, or I don't know what. He's not the one for me. Fair enough. But standards have gone a bit higher. Therefore, I mean, that beautiful relationship and the man's motivation to go out and slay dragons and a woman's motivation to nurture a beautiful home is not there.
Because we were raised by parents, so the generation before us, and that's where we go back and we look back at the previous generations. My grandparents, your grandparents, our grandparents did the World War.
Absolutely.
So they were all in survival. They were all at war. That they lived the darkest period in history of humankind. So, it's like every single day, anybody can die. My son, my father,
Absolutely.
my neighbor, I die. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we're on our own, and we all closed our hearts, which means our grandparents, they all come from generation that completely closed their hearts. There was no heart. It was all here survival. So that's the generation that raised our parents. And our parents were raised by that in homes where it was all about responsibility and provide and do and rebuild the world. Full masculine, aka patriarchy, which is the masculine is dominating because the masculine needed to be online to rebuild the world. And then comes us, that heart generation that is dying for the heart. Heart being, we just want to play, we want to live, we want to feel high, we want to enjoy all the pleasures of this earth, and say we want nothing to do with our parents. They were serious, they were on point, they were working. My dad just worked, he didn't even know what he liked, he just did it because he needed to do it. And so we come from those generations and we're like, we don't want to be like them. And that's all unconscious, but it's the little boys that had fathers that were absentee meaning either he's working too much, so he's out, not there. And when he is here, he's not here. So he's absent. I can't feel my father, right? I can see him maybe physically, but I can't feel him. Yeah. And the mothers who didn't have the husband needed to compensate. And unconsciously, which is what women do a lot when they have children and they're not fulfilled by the partner and they're not being poured into by the partner, the feminine goes and will unfortunately take from the children. Yeah. So we have a lot of mommy boys, which means boys that saw mommy suffer inside and became the most amazing emotional cushion for mommy boys. And then we have daddy girls, which is the girls that looked at daddy and how hard he was working. They were like, I'm going to become the hardest working too, because, I want to be the one that is able to provide and do and whatever, because it's unconscious, is he works hard. So a lot of women come and say, I became, my father because he wasn't there. What you did is you helped your father unconsciously because you saw him suffer and work hard and not be able to enjoy and whatever. So unconsciously it's a loyalty thing. Is I'll bring him back in the family if I can help him pick up the load. So I'm going to become great at whatever he thinks is great. University is great, I'm going to have all the degrees. Working is great, I'm going to do all of these things. And so then we end up with women who are very good in their, very strong in their masculine, and the polarity has reversed. So now these men and women are sitting across from each other, and he's in his feminine and she's in her masculine. So the polarity is still there. It attracts one another, but it is not healthy in this body. No. I was born to be a woman.
Absolutely.
So were you. So and they were born to be masculine. So what feels natural and good in their body is for them to go back to being masculine, but nobody taught them. So they're trying to figure it out, and that's why they're suffering. And the women are trying to figure it out, and that's why we're suffering.
Oh, honestly, it's a minefield.
It is a minefield. I think we have passed now the stage of being mad at each other and projecting our toxicity onto each other. Because the first phase, of course, of ignorance is you're bad, you need to change. And he's like, she needs to change.
Yeah.
And now we're both looking at each other and going like, okay, we're ready to have a conversation.
Yeah.
What's going on? Because I'm tired, you're tired. What's going on?
But I mean, it's good that we're getting to this point.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
conversations like these. It's just highlighting the fact that, I mean, again, I say that now in the back of my mind, I've got 2 little boys to raise.
Yes.
I do want them to be in tune with their sort of ability to have at least emotional intelligence.
Yes.
But I will be raising them as protector provider.
Yes.
I don't want them to be confused about that, yet still to help their future partners navigate a world where it's not going to take away from her as opposed to add. I just want them to be in addition to her. Likewise, hopefully,
yes, and
to
she
be
will
back
be.
and
Of
forth.
course, of course.
I'm not going to raise them any other way.
Oh.
And even, I mean, whenever me and my husband talk about, again, our roles, I work full time. So I think for me, I work full time. I'm raising kids. I'm doing this on the side. I am getting to the point where I am feeling my masculine is pulling away.
Yes.
I don't want to do that. And, you know, and initially I was straight out of uni. This is what I wanted. I wanted the job. I got my master's. Then the kids came. And it's just like, there is nothing more important to me than being present. And of course, there are days where it's not great. And I'm not saying I'm like the greatest mother on earth, but it's just being around your children.
Yes.
Anything that pulls you away from that, be it a job, be it whatever it is that you feel like you don't have the control or flexibility, puts me in distress. If things are done on my terms, things are that a lot of moms, and I'm talking, you know, whenever we're sort of around at the school at pickup, ideally what a woman needs is a job or something that fuels her passion on a flexibility basis. Mm-hmm. Let's not disregard, children are there. I can't get rid of them. They're there, they're my responsibility. It is also a man's responsibility.
Of course.
But I don't really, a man who is a protector provider, I'm okay with you doing that only. But for me, my employer, my whatever it might be, needs to understand that as a woman, I feel this way. Mm-hmm. And as a woman, I need to have certain concessions to be able for me to give you something that's going to be value. Correct. Because I'm not taking away or don't feel like I'm taking away from what I consider my heart and soul. Yes. And that's, I think, the problem. I think that's the problem with this world where it's just, if you are in a situation where you are an employed person and you are working and you have to, I think there needs to be an understanding that women shouldn't be working the same as men.
100%. And the only difference between men working and women working as per nature is man needs to work to provide, which means he will do the hard thing because he thrives on hard. Yeah. Man thrives on hard. Woman thrives on rest and ease.
Absolutely.
That is how the nature of the feminine, which means woman cannot be working because she has to. Survival. She's working because she enjoys it.
100%.
And that's the difference between a man's work and a woman's work. And that's why they say even in governments when they hire women and women, it's like women are so much harder to corrupt because they work from their heart. It's like they're doing something, they believe in it because they love it.
Absolutely.
You know, and men, it's because they need to go from A to B.
For sure.
A man is, you know, I remember one day asking my dad, I was like, do you love what you do? Which was, you know, one of those like questions. I was like, you know, I
He's like, why are you asking?
He looked at me, he was like, what? That was, you know, I could see the search engine going like, what are you, you know, bugging a little bit. And I was like, do you like what you do? I mean, you've done it 50 years. Do you love it? He's like, I'm good at it. You know, it's like the like doesn't come into it. And it doesn't have to be that extreme, of course. And I don't say that. And that's why we are changing. And the men today are saying we want a more integrated approach to life. But a man will do what needs to be done. That is part of it. A man feels pain and it boosts his fire. Yeah. Dopamine driven, oxytocin driven as a woman. I'm not dopamine driven. I love hugs
Yeah.
and connecting
For sure.
and pouring and loving and nurturing everything that comes and multiplying it and just pouring my wisdom and my love and showing you how beautiful this life is and the bliss of it, because I am the bliss to your abyss. That's what I
It's
always
true.
say to a
It's
man,
so
is I am
true.
the bliss to your abyss. His life is abyss without her.
Yeah.
And when she comes into it, man just straightens up, path is clear. He knows where he's going, what he's doing. And he looks at her to remember, that's why. And he keeps going. I have to do the hard thing because that.
It's so true.
And now the society or how it's designed, etc. Society is not a thing. It's a fictional. I mean, it's a fictive thing. We cannot bring society to court. We cannot. Society doesn't exist really. It's just what we like to create to say a belief system that kind of lives within me, which is part of that patriarchy system which lives within me. That's what society is, a grouping of belief systems that still lives within me. And then it's, how do I get rid of it? Because it's within me and I don't have to adhere to any of it. I have to figure out ways to not adhere to any of it. And that means I might need to learn skills, because I might need to do things unconventionally. I might need to start that business that I'm too afraid to do, and therefore I went and got that job where I don't feel like a woman in it. But this means I need to take responsibility and do something else.
Yeah.
So when I speak to women about that, it's like, we can stay in victimhood of like, this is how it is outside of me, or we can get out of it. And until we get out of it, there is nothing that can be done. Because victimhood is a choice of, I want to stay here.
Have you ever felt that you stuck around in your victimhood?
Of course I felt victimhood. So I like to say I have this, I like my 10 minutes of victimhood. And I have a couple of people who are my closest people in my life that I will call for them. Like, hey, you have 10 minutes? An event. For me, why is it happening to me? Why?
Why me? Why
I'm
me?
tired. I'm sick
Yeah.
of it. I can't. Why?
Yeah.
So I'll have my 10 minutes of victimhood. And then after that, I put my,
Big girl pants
panties on and I go, let's go. Now, what do I do? Why? Only reason is that's where my power is. If I am in victimhood, it means I am completely disempowered. I can't do nothing about it. And I can't be in that position. I can feel it for some time, which we need to feel it, which is usually nurturing the little kid that just fell on their knee and comes back. And it was the tree's fault or whatever. And then after that, we're like, okay, now we move on. Well, how do we move on? How do we fix it? How do we pick up from there? Why? Because I like myself and I want to reach my goals in my life. And if my goal is to feel good most of the time, victimhood doesn't feel good. No. I don't want to be there.
No, I don't think anybody does, but you just tend to sometimes get into that slippery slope.
It's again, and I believe that truly, Raya, I believe that the hardest thing for all humans is to take responsibility of their life. And victimhood is the child. Victimhood is, I'm in that mentality of, somebody fix it for me, somebody help me, I need to vent. And as long as I'm in victimhood, when a kid cries, everybody comes and they finally got the attention. So victimhood will give me attention without putting on me the responsibility and accountability. But I'm screwing myself up. That's the highest self-sabotage, victimhood, which is, I stay in a place where I go, and then I can move from victimhood to creatorhood. And that's where I go back to my power. I am creating whatever is in front of me. I don't like it. I got to change something.
Absolutely.
Got to change something.
Get your power back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What are your thoughts on equality? How would you define equality? And do you think we have equality between men and women?
Interesting. I'm not a fan of the word equality, just because it's too easily used to compare apples to oranges.
It's quite finite.
Yeah, it's like equality. It's like, if you get this, you should get this. No, because they're different, right? It's like a lion needs to eat this much. A turtle needs to eat this much. I don't know. We're different. So we have different needs and whatever. So I'm not a big fan of equality. I'm a fan of freedom and nature, which is allowing nature to express itself fully, which is freedom. So when my nature, how I was designed by nature as a woman, can express fully as a woman all that I am, all my seasons and my cycles and my craziness and my oracleness and my 3-year-old and my 300-year-old, and all of us can all come online and exist freely and beautifully together, then we are in a place of, in a world where that feels good because nature is welcomed as opposed to suppressed. Anywhere where nature is suppressed, that's what we call patriarchy. That's the story of Atlantis and Lemuria. It's a technological world where, nature is disregarded and we go towards more of the machinery. And women are, the feminine opposes this, and we fight it. And we fight it all the time. This is what's happening now.
Yeah.
As we see, the feminine is really rising. The heart is really rising. The heart is calling back everybody, men and women. We're all saying, I need to live more here. I need to feel more here, to be more here. Gen Z is, full on into their heart space, and we're connected to that. So equality doesn't exist, never existed. It's part of the Western, I think, patriarchal systems of, same as taxes and all these kind of things that really don't exist. But it's like, I'm going to sell to you an idea
Taxes
of
that we don't want.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to sell to you a system that will tell you that this is freedom.
That's
it's
right.
like democracy and etc. And when it's actually, no, it's the most oppressive system ever, but I'm going to present it to you with, angel wings and say, this is it. And we are advanced because we have this. When it's not.
That's so funny. You're so right. That the fact that it's the most oppressive system.
It is 100%.
To try to be equal to somebody that is nowhere near the same. You are not the same. You'll never be the same.
Ever.
Yeah.
That's nature creates singularity. It never creates doubles in anything. You won't have two ants which are the same or have the same purpose. And every damn thing that comes out of creation has purpose. From the tiniest microbe, the mosquito to the shark to you, me, everybody has purpose. You exist means there's purpose for you. It's just trying to come out of you through you. Yeah. And this physical reality, this world we live in, puts you in boxes to make sure that that expression does not come out, so that I can make you do other things for. So those are the sides that we work with.
Honestly, I just think that couldn't be more on point. It's so true. And I think when you go back to it and really peel back the idea of equality, like you said, it's a patriarchal systemic theory. It's great to have equality between men and women in the sense that a woman can be your intellectual equal. I'm 100% there with you. She could surpass you intellectually. But also at the same time, her life, her existence, her thoughts, her body, her everything, spirit is completely different.
Completely, fully.
And there's no point in putting women or men in a level playing field. And I think, like you said, this generation is coming back with that. I think more my mom's generation even, we're a little bit more like the women need to get back on it. They need to get into the jobs. You become highly trained and super skilled. And I was having this conversation with my mom, and she's so incredible and so smart and so educated, and she's just really very much driven and wanted that for me and my sister, whereas we're just trying to regain, I think, tap into, I'm not going to be the same as my husband, and I don't want to be. And it's unnerving, I guess, because we're told to keep pushing that side. You can do the mothering and the feminine, but you can also do everything that the man can do.
Parenting is very difficult and very hard.
And
really, it's because
God bless them. They try to empower. I mean, we are
Yes.
empowered young women, or
Yes.
young, middle-aged
Yeah,
women.
yeah.
But it's only now I'm realizing, I don't know if that is a little bit of a disservice.
Well, their intention was for you to never suffer their silent suffering.
What 100%
of not having the freedom, of not feeling this, that, or feeling apart. So you never are under a man because they have watched their mothers also be supported.
This is it, right?
So,
it's not being trapped.
Yes. And a woman, and so the intention behind it is gorgeous and beautiful.
Yeah.
And they were giving at their level of consciousness and at their capacity what they thought the solution would be for their daughters, which is, I want to spare you that kind of suffering, and I think this is the answer. Actually, I know this is, go do this, and if you do this, you'll be fine, and you won't have my suffering or my mother's or my grandmother's or whatever. And the fathers did the same thing with their sons, in different ways. So because parenting is the hardest job ever.
Oh,
now, I have this thing that I've developed called the scale of help, and the scale of help, it's a graphic basically that says what is really help and how do we help other human beings. And parents, all they want to do is help their children at the
For sure.
highest level, and that's usually why they struggle, because they're too close to it. They're too close to it. It just hurts on so many levels. So scale of help, the lowest level is criticism, right? A lot of people have been told, I criticize you because I love you. And I've been raised under that. It's like, I tell you you're an idiot because I love you. I punish you.
Like that's a motivator. Like
That's
I
a
want you to
motivator.
do
Or
better.
calling names, name calling or whatever. And tahmar,
Yeah.
like these kind of things. And it's like, that because I love you, that's why. And because you need to be better.
Yeah.
So if you get like I don't know, a B, it's like, that's horrible. It's bad. Your cousin got this much. So that destroys a human being. So it's not help. But it is used from the intention of help, because help is an intention, is I am trying here to better you, and how I do it is at my capacity, and it's usually how I do it for myself. If I criticize myself, I criticize you. If I call myself names, I'm going to call you names, because that's all I know to do. Then after that, you have all sorts of different helps. And you go to, advice. Advice is horrendous, because advice is, I'm going to tell you what I would do, basically. But I'm not you. I don't have your life. I don't have your lineage. I don't have your history. I don't have nothing about you. I know nothing. I literally see a grain of sand in the desert that you are. And I think I know what you should do.
Yeah.
So advice is one of the worst things you could do for any human beings. And then after that, you have therapy. Therapy, why? Because most classical therapists is here. So we are really dealing with the matrix of a person. So basically all the stories that make up that person.
Yeah.
We are not healing any of what's going on in the body. We are actually enriching, strengthening the stories of identity of that person, etc., and remembering and adding and effects, and now making it 5D, etc. Then after that, you have coaching. Coaching is great. Why? Because it's, you tell me what your issue is today, and I'm going to take you, what's your plan, and how do we get there, right? So I'm going to help you get from A to B. Then you have a whole bunch of other somatics, etc., etc., etc. So therapies that go all the way to the top. The top one that will never change and always will be, is the greatest help you can ever give someone is to be love, which means to be loving, to just be love. And the beings that have come on earth that have been able to hold that frequency and be that are the beings that, we still read their books, are the prophets. Jesus, somebody will look into their eyes, Prophet Muhammad, and they just know. Yeah. That's it. And what it is when I love you, what I do is I connect you to your love, to the source that you are. So when I just give you love for all that you are, all of you, the shadows, all of that, all the darkness, the good things, or whatever, as you are, just love you. I now make you feel completely all the parts of you are online, and it's okay, and they are beautiful, and it's all okay. Therefore, now you have access by yourself to go in there and figure out what you want to do, what you want to move with, what you want to change. Because I can't change anything for you.
Absolutely.
I'm not an expert at you. I never will be. You're not an expert at you either. You're trying to be. So I could never tell you what needs to be done. And that's the same thing with children. Children are just a life that needs to be absolutely nurtured, which means I water it, I give it what it needs, I watch it like a tree. If it wants to grow this side, I help it grow this side.
Right.
If it wants to grow that side, I help it. I hold the space for it. I give it the love, the safety, the soil, the nutrient, all of that for it to grow into the best life that it can grow. What it's going to grow into, I have no idea. It is not my job.
No.
And I'm not there to interfere. Parents interfere unknowingly. They want to love, but they interfere.
Well-meaning, but subconsciously.
Yes, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly. The intention is so beautiful. And this is why it takes a village, for me, makes sense, because within a village, there are many other members which are more detached from that child.
Absolutely.
And are able to give in a way where sometimes the parents can't.
100%.
Because they're too close. It's like, this is my heart I'm looking at.
Absolutely,
what do you mean?
Absolutely.
So I need auntie.
Clouded judgment.
Yes, and auntie and uncle right now, or the neighbors, or this, or the close friends, they can have a more clear idea, and they're able to deal with them in the right way, in a better way, in a more functional way, because I couldn't. And I always say, the mother, all mothers say, I don't want my boy to be a mommy's boy. But then when you have a boy, it's like, he just hurts and you're like, oh,
No, it's
I'm
guilty as
100%.
charged. I mean, it's one of those things that I'm obsessed with them. They drive me crazy. But as we're speaking, I've got like a running commentary in the back of my mind. This little boy needs that. I need to remember that there is an
It's very
obsession.
difficult because you are designed as a mother to absolutely be obsessed with your child and love it unconditionally.
Exactly.
The only unconditional love that exists on earth is the mother's love.
Absolutely.
Father cannot love unconditionally.
Which is why we're fundamentally different.
Yes.
And we need that difference.
Yes.
100%.
We are the reason life is worth living. And men know that. No men would be Adam in heaven, or just, playing with his toes saying, what is it all for? Now what? That's it? Like, what? I eat fruit and then what do we do now? Like, today, tomorrow?
Creator of
then
life.
God's like, you say, okay, you did purpose. Here she is.
Yeah.
There you go. Start now. And men know that deep down. But it's hard. Mm-hmm. And we don't understand the hardship of men as women sometimes. It's not about making excuses for it and accepting it and saying, oh, it's hard, so, I'm going to enable you to do whatever you want and play your video games all day. But it's just about being in tune with it. Is we as women are born with purpose. We are born, we know. I'm here to carry life.
That's right.
I am life. I'm the beauty. You look at a little girl and you just see it.
But that is the fundamentals of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, we have a preordained purpose.
Mm-hmm. We're born with the purpose.
Absolutely.
That's why woman, the feminine energy, lays back.
Yeah.
It's magnetic. It comes to her.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to do anything because she's the egg. And, that needs to be fertilized by
Absolutely.
the seeds. And the seeds are going all the way. Like, I'm working hard to get
Absolutely.
there.
That is
and
on a cellular level.
It's nature. Nature will show you everything. You look at nature, it's there. The egg is there, and all the sperms running there going. And she chooses.
That's true.
And she chooses. She doesn't choose based on whoever's there first or whatever. She chooses on what's the best match.
Yeah. To have the most perfect creation.
Masculine. So men need to find purpose. Yeah. That's the struggle, is they look out there and they need to find purpose. Why? Because they need to feel worthy of her. Is if you want to kill a man, you put him on a couch for a couple of weeks. He will feel so useless, worthless. He can't even look you in the eyes. Absolutely useless. That's why retirement for men is like what kills them, most of them, very early.
Yeah.
They got retired. Men need to feel he's doing something, and it's something that took and was either physically draining and painful, or he had to overcome a challenge, solve a problem, do something that makes him feel valuable. He needs to feel worthy through that, worthy of what? Of her what? Life, her woman, her the feminine, her saying, I love you, you're amazing, and thank you.
Yeah.
Right? So man has to climb a mountain to feel his worth. And that mountain is physical. Mm-hmm. So it's how he handles his body and is a master of his body in terms of health, in terms of his sovereignty, in terms of his lust, in terms of all the pleasures, gluttony, all these kind of things. Mm-hmm. So he's got to really master all of these things and build as he goes up this mountain, takes on space and creates space and look down on his kingdom. Woman is already there. And the woman... I love this analogy of, and it's controversial, and some men just kind of cross their arms sometimes, and then till they hear it till the end. But woman's like at the top of the mountain, and she's born there. She has a vision. She sees where we're going. That's a future. We're going there. Yeah. She knows. She's waiting. Why? Because she's born with all the value, all of what life is, all that is sacred lives within her. She's literally the protector of the most sacred space on earth, which is the womb of creation, where life comes from. So if there's any other space on earth that is more sacred than that, please show me. So she knows that she's up there. And the man is in the valley and he's looking up and he's like, that's the purpose. And I need to climb this mountain to get to her. Together, when they get up there, when he gets up there, now they're creating a world together and they're going forward. Most relationships usually is as he's climbing, because it's painful. It's painful for a man to climb, and he's got to humble himself and put his ego aside. And he's trying to pull her down a little bit for her to come down. That's what we call the power struggle.
That's right.
And she's trying to drop her standards a little bit. So they kind of have that power. So she's like, you come up. He's like, no, you're too much. It's too much up there. You need
Meet
to
me
come down.
halfway, not
No,
50-50.
And it's like, no. He's like, so I'm not good enough. It's like, you are good enough. Just come up.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you don't think I'm good enough. And I think you're too much. And she feels too much. And he doesn't feel good enough. And they're doing that pull and that struggle. And they usually will settle somewhere there. And that's where they create their life and their new world together. But she is a reason he will challenge himself. Without her, he has no point. Why? You know, if you see boys and women differently, like we like to create spaces and we think about what we want to design and what we want to do and live. And men don't need much, really, on their own. If it wasn't for women, they would never work. They wouldn't get all these cars. They would get a mattress put on the floor, some steaks. They're good.
100%.
Water, you know, that's it.
Basic needs.
Basic needs. Yeah. That's why they love going camping and doing all these kind of things or whatever. Every man that really loves, you know, luxury and all of that, it's because he loves her. Yeah. And he wants her to think of him. For sure. You know, so the man doesn't get the car, you know, because he's like, oh, I love, you know, pretty things. And it's because
I appreciate the engineering. It's never about that.
I love it. It's like the movements of the watches. And it's like, okay, it's great.
Guys,
it's wonderful. I understand the science behind it and whatever. But it's not. It's about, I need her to look at me and say, wow. Yeah. Because that is what men, and it's so beautiful. And I'm so grateful. And when I see these men that really, you know, all these roads, schools, systems, computers, AC, microphone, chairs, designed, built by men for her.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. Look,
Thank you.
But then it kind of follows in what you're saying, that lead with nature. Mm. You're talking about the most basic level of nature, which is an egg and a sperm. Mm-hmm. And the sperm is doing a lot of work. And that's to trace it up to an actual human being. Essentially, it should be the same.
It is. Yeah. And the problem we have now is not that men don't want to be in, because women come like, oh, men are just princesses now, whatever. They are in their feminine. They're suffering. It doesn't feel good to be there, just like it doesn't feel good for you to be in your masculine. Just the way you're suffering, you're like, I'm tired of it. I got it all handled.
Can't find somebody. I can't do this.
Yeah, and I'm holding everything. And I'm He's feeling the same thing about him being in his feminine and feeling completely disempowered and completely in victimhood. And he hates it. And he doesn't know how to get out of those loops. It's the same thing. So we got to get to a place of really speaking. I speak to men and I worked with men in addiction groups. And my God, how they are dying for some encouragement, for someone to look at them and say, I see your pain and, you know, I know what you want to feel. Yeah. And it's you being completely disconnected from your masculine. In constellations, this is really the science behind it energetically, which is boys and girls up until the age of 6 and 7, mommy is, you know, the epiphany of anything. She's God. She's everything. Mm-hmm. Mommy is everything. That is in the background. It's like everything mommy. If you want mommy, mommy, mommy. Mommy's on the pedestal and she feels it energetically. They're glued to her.
They are glued.
They just look at you, right? At the age of about 7, now their energy turns towards daddy. Why? Because daddy represents the outside world. Yeah. Adventure, excitement. Daddy now's taking them out into the world. And usually that's when mother starts going like, yeah, I feel like I have more time now. Like I can maybe go back to what I used to do or find something to do. Like I feel like, where are my kids? You know, like they're always with their dad. Like nobody cares about me anymore.
It's probably at the time, which is the phase I'm going. It's at the time where I'm thinking like, what am I here for?
Yeah, like do they
questioning it? Yeah.
Do they still care? So energetically, that's very healthy. So they turn towards the father. Father now takes them into the world. Daddy becomes the cool one. He's on the pedestal now because he's the cool one. He takes them out. And my daddy's gonna come and show you, and so all that. Now, at puberty, the girl must come back to the mother energetically. So the minute she gets her puberty, she goes back to the women, mother being the women in the village, because they're going to teach her self-love, self-preservation, what's sacred about being feminine, being a woman, the responsibility of it. And self-love, which keeps her from predators in the future, from selling herself out, from being, you know, promiscuous, all of that. So they teach her how to love herself as a woman and what it means to be a woman. The boy stays with the father. That is why at that age, 7, 8, the mother usually mourns a little bit because she knows she's
100%.
never going to have him back the way
Yeah.
he was. That her boy now is going with the men.
Yeah.
And she's going to turn her face because it's not fun to watch that
No.
side, but it's so necessary. How many constellations I have done where men have come and they have their mommy's boys, or my mom, I love my mom, I love my mom. And the minute this constellation opens, whoever represents him looks at the mother and is like, I feel nauseous, I can't even look at her, or I really am so angry at her. Because unconsciously, the little boy that stayed with mommy and couldn't go to the man and be with the man resents her for not becoming a man. He resents her for, you kept me from the man, from my masculinity, from what I am. And now look at me struggling in life. I can't keep relationships, I don't know how to be tough and how to work and how to have discipline. And he goes, you kept me soft with you. And in real life, he loves her. He calls her every day, speaks to her every day, mommy, I love you. I'll send her things. But deep down, there's such an anger and a blame on her. So boys have got to be with their fathers. The father teaches a boy how to become a man. And the mother teaches a girl how to become a woman. And that will never change. That is nature. A woman cannot teach a boy how to become a man fully. A mother cannot. Her heart cannot handle that.
Honestly, I completely agree with you. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I've read about. When you, again, I'm not very good, but if you study different tribes and things like that, there comes a point in a boy's life where he has to leave the nest at a young age, probably around that 7 or 8 mark. And he needs to go either with him and a trusted male figure.
Correct.
To go out into the world, leave the mother behind and come back a man.
Yeah.
You go a boy and come back a man. And I completely agree.
And it's energetic. So in our world now, before they used to send them actually. They used to actually send them. Yeah. Or you had the men, so the village, which was fantastic. You had the uncles and you had all the, the men were there and the boy would hang out with them wherever they're doing that day. They pick him, he's in the car with them.
Absolutely.
They're going there, he goes with them.
Absolutely.
He watches their affairs. He watches their work. He watches them build things. He watches them, I don't know, whatever he'd say with them. They're having coffee. He's sitting with them, just hanging out. He's learning what it is to be a man.
Yeah.
And that you can't do if you're hanging out with women all day.
100%. So this is my last question, and I'm going to read it out because I don't want to get it wrong. The last question is, if you could send an unapologetic message to the world about women's leadership and self-expression that might go viral, which probably will, coming from you, for all the wrong reasons, what would it be and why? Something completely wrong.
Make love to your ego.
Okay.
Women need to build a healthy ego and men need to get rid of their ego. A woman comes into this world with this unconditional love. We have the capacity to love unconditionally, which means we have a beautiful temple, which is the most sacred temple in the world, but we have no walls. Mm-hmm. And that's what we suffer most of it. That's why most women's journey is to build, to have boundaries. Boundaries is what means I have an ego. Mm-hmm. That is ego is what protects me, protects this temple. Not everybody gets to get in.
Yeah.
You can't come in with your dirty shoes and just come and take everything and leave.
100%.
No, there is etiquette. You're coming here to give an offering. You're coming here to add value. You're coming here to water the plants, whatever it is. But you can't just come in here and take. So women need to build a healthy ego. Healthy ego means a healthy mind part, masculine part that protects her, that says, I vet you before I let you into all that is sacred and all my love and all my beauty and all my pouring and my compassion and my care and my giving and all of that. Absolutely. I cannot just be pillaged all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not all about the male ego though.
Yeah, but the male needs to drop his ego because male is self-serving by nature, which means the male thinks for himself.
Yeah.
And boys become men when they become servants of her life. So I'm no longer serving myself, but I'm now serving her. That's how a woman was telling me, it's like, just give me a golden rule for like when I go on dates.
Yeah.
How do I know? Like, I don't want to do 20 dates before I know the guy is good or not. I don't have that time.
Yeah.
And I said to her 2 things. One, is he a man of God? Meaning he has an authority above him. And the only authority above him is source God. Absolutely. That's it. That's super important because a man who doesn't have that is going left, right, and center with no compass. Absolutely. He has no moral code. No moral code, you're screwed. Second one is he serving? So he's coming to serve? Or is he coming to get served? Is he coming to serve? He's like, validate me, love me, give me, bring me, me, as opposed to I watched what you need and I bring it. I noticed yesterday you didn't have that. I sent you that. You told me that you felt dizzy in the morning. Sent you supplements. That's when it's like I'm attuned, because that's what the masculine is a king wakes up in his kingdom every day. And he doesn't go and hang out with himself and does things for himself or take for himself. He goes down to the village or the people and he checks everybody. Okay, is there a problem here? This needs fixing. This needs sorting. That fence is not done well. Solving the issues, whatever. He goes back. He checks that all is done. All is in order. Now we can play. Now let's have fun. But his job is to serve. That is what a man does.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. In every aspect. I think it's conversation. It's this conversation about man and a woman that I don't know what's going on, but they are fundamentally skewed. And I think to be able to break it down in its simplicity is what is needed. Don't overcomplicate it.
Don't complicate it. And you know the beauty of it, whenever I have these conversations with men,
Yeah.
they all agree and say yes. When do you ever feel the most powerful? That's one question that I ask them is, when do you feel like, give me moments, one or two. And it's always, I did something and then I received love pouring, whatever. I solved a problem. I overcame this. Nobody could do it and I did it. I found a problem and I, solved the issue for how many people. And that for them and that's why they thrive on appreciation, because they're doing so much. And how to shut down a man is to really not give him any of the appreciation, which makes his work feel invisible. So the difference between women and men is man wants what he does to be acknowledged. Woman wants what she is to be acknowledged. Is I am life. Don't you dare disrespect me. Don't you dare think less of me because I am physically not your match. No. But I am spiritually above you. In many ways, meaning I am life. I am here through me comes soul. I can't make a soul. I can make, cells and create a baby physically, but I can't make a soul. That child that is our child that has a soul, that came through me. I need respect.
Absolutely.
And acknowledgement
100%.
As opposed to being seen as lesser than. You have your place, I have mine. We're equally in terms of equality here being your position and my position are literally side by side. And your properties and my properties are completely different. Together we create life. As long as we're not trying to do this patriarchy, which doesn't work.
Oh, Rima, I feel like I can sit and talk to you for hours. This is a conversation that we need a part 2, or just it's an ongoing conversation. And I love that. And honestly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We need to ask you. Obviously, I start the conversation with a quote, and my quote right at the start was, "A woman doesn't echo; she ignites." That was mine. I would love to hear if you've got a quote for us today that you kind of live by, or something that keeps coming up, or something that you feel really quite strongly about.
Well, it's one by one of my greatest teachers, which is Ram Dass, and I love Ram Dass, which is we're all walking each other home. And I think the more we remember that when we're talking to one another, the judgments drop.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's I'm not here to interfere. I'm just here to interact. And when I interact with you and you interact with me, we take each other closer to home a little bit. So it's like this long walk of life back home, and we get to do little parts with different people, and it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. It's so accurate. It's so accurate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I love being here.
Thank you for everything that you've come in with heart and soul, just like everything that you do with your life, with your clients. To navigate this topic in the way that you do is quite rare. And I think just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
You're honestly, there's so many people benefit from that. So many people will take that on to really change their lives. So
thank you so much.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful for you and what you do and how I love how present you are. It just is like it went by like this.
It really
did.
Real.
It really did. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank